Hello, everybody, and thank you for who all is tuning in today on Kim Delivers. I have today with me Carolyn Nelson, and I have LaShannon King. And today we are talking about home buying process. There is quite a few things that we want to touch bases with today, but basically, this is the deal. Um, we want to let you guys know that out here in the house buying market, there's a few tips and tricks that you need to know, some best practices, but also how not to get scammed and how to fight your way through so that you can get what you want if you need to. Okay. So now I'm going to have each one of them talk introduce a little bit about themselves real quick. Carolyn.
Hi, I am Caroline Nelson. I am from KW Domain. I've been a realtor for a little over 20 years. So I've had a little bit of experience and I'm a little seasoned. But out of my 20 years, not one deal has been the same. Each has been a challenge and each has been a process. Sometimes there are easy ones and sometimes there have been a little difficult and a little challenging ones, as this one we're about to talk about today. It involved a probate case, which was new to me out of my 20 years. But again, it was a learning curve, and I appreciate the opportunity for my client and the seller to allow me to at least we got to the closing table. Um, I love what I'm doing. I love communicating with people. I love helping people. I specialize in the Oakland and Wayne County areas. I've sold properties from Ypsilanti to Pontiac. Um, a good thing is networking with people, as Kim mentioned earlier in her opening statement. You have to have a network of people. You know how you have to be able to communicate with people. And trust is very important when it comes to communicating and purchasing a home. This is a big, huge investment
It surely is.
for
It
you.
surely is. I'm
Um,
gonna.
so- I'm sorry, Kim.
Oh, no problem. I just wanted to take a time for LaShannon to introduce herself, and I'm just gonna run the intro, and we can get into it all into it. LaShannon.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is LaShanna King. I am the seller of the property that we're going to be talking about on tonight. Um, that's just pretty much it. I just fell into this role just um, by accident, and it has really has been a journey. But later on in the session, you will get to see everything that had unfolded with the property.
All right, I'm just gonna run the banner right quick. Hopefully, some more people load up in here, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Sounds good.
Hello, my fabulous viewers. Welcome to Kim Delivers, the ultimate destination for commentary enthusiasts. I am Kimberly, your guide on this exciting journey, delivering you entertaining and informative content. Whether you're here for a dose of laughter, inspiring tips, or just good vibes, you've landed in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button and join our family. So buckle up and let's dive into the world of Kim Delivers together. Alrighty, and we're back. Okay,
Okay.
so I just want to talk about how I started this journey. So, um, I started off, first of all, Carolyn is my second realtor. Okay. I have four mortgage people and two reps. Okay. The first mortgage, I went to US Bank and the people started telling me how bad they were. And so I told US Bank, I said, I told the guy, so that's all right. You don't run my credit or anything like that. I don't want you running my credit. He was like, why not? So I told him about, what I heard in reputation. He went off on me and told me about how long he been in the business and how many. So I just hung up on him, right? So he blew up my phone though, and then I was just had to block him because he would not leave me alone. He sent me emails and all the rest of that. So Then I had a friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, who grew up together and all the rest of that. Matter of fact, we even used to date. But anyway, he had I always told him when I buy my house, I want you to help me and sell me my house, And he gave me his mortgage guy every time I called him. This man gave me so much information. He made me depressed, like I couldn't get no house, none of this other stuff. And I was just like, oh, I'll never be able to get a house. I mean, he would just give you way too much information. So then I asked him to give me a different person. And so then he gave me a different person. You remember him, Carolyn. That was the guy who didn't remember who I was when you called to get them information. But anyway, so how I got to Carolyn is that my friend, though, I would just send him houses in like days. I would never hear back. So I was just like, forget it. I'm not going to deal with this any longer. I said, I'm just going to get somebody else. I said, I'm going to go to my girl, Carolyn. I said, because she would have been my first choice if he wasn't there anyway. So I went to Carolyn. And then we were looking for houses. She made herself available. She put me on the list. And then the other thing is that I felt like he was just sending me houses. Carolyn knew what I wanted. Okay, she knew my style. It's almost like going to your hairdresser and your hairdresser know your style. You know what I mean? She knew the style of home that I'd like. So I went to another one of the sisters in our network. She is a director of the Neighborhood Legal Services of Michigan. And she came on and she told us about this program. And if anybody hasn't ever heard of this program, and Neighborhood Legal Services has a lot going on with it, not just about the houses, but they have a lot. They even help homeless people. It's a lot that they have. Matter of fact, maybe I should put their information in our system too as well. Hi, Latoya. I see Latoya. I'm so sorry, you all. I'm checking out the comments too. So anyway, they told me about a MSHDA plan. So MSHDA either gives you $10,000 down as a payment assistance, or you can get a promotional interest rate. And in the market that I was in, people were bidding 10, 20, 30,000 over asking as the interest prices were raising up. Now I didn't have that kind of money, first of all, to be bidding over there like that. And then I was starting to feel really, really, uncomfortable because the interest rates were so high. So then I said I didn't. The more I looked at houses, these houses that they're selling are high out here, and they did not have a lot done on the inside. Hi, Shay B. They didn't have a lot done on the inside, and not only that, they didn't have a lot done on the outside. Trees was all up on the house like this, and in the gutters like that. I was like, oh no. Then I was thinking about all that yard work, and I'm getting older, and I didn't feel like that. So I said, well, maybe I can do a condo. So that guy that I forgot what his name was anyway, but the mortgage rep, I had asked him about it. He really didn't know anything about that program. But the program also gave you promotional interest rates. Okay. So they gave you promotional interest rates, and that's what I took, because the interest rates got up to I think about 8.1, 8.2, if I'm not mistaken. So they gave me a promotional interest rate. And then one day Carolyn and I went out shopping, and I said, I'm going to find today a condo, Carolyn, when we go out here. So I think we had 5 or 6 of them, right?
Yes.
Because at first I didn't think I was going to be able to get a condo. And then, but I said, I'm just going to look. And I think that was God telling me just to look, okay? Because this other guy told me I couldn't get one. So I said, I'm going to find a condo today. So then we went out there, and I said, we're going to bid on 3 of them, okay? I'm going to bid on 3. So by the time we got home, one of them was gone already. And then we put an offer on one, and then Carolyn was asking my mortgage guy for the information. First of all, he was really tardy in replying. So I'm getting upset again, because not here again do I have to deal with the same thing. You know what I mean? So I told Carolyn, and I scared Carolyn, but she found out that it was okay. I said, I'm changing my mortgage man. And she was like, I know she was like, Kim, we're getting ready to give an offer. Why would you do that? She says, well, I just like to consider that for a minute, Kim. I mean, I don't know. I said, no. It's going to be okay. I said, because I'm going to tell you, if you're going to change it, this is the best time to change it now. I said, because that guy ain't looking out for me. He don't even know who I am. And didn't we get the best one? Mark
Yes.
Gelman. I'm telling you guys, not only did he know this Michigan program, but he was the best guy. Okay. So in addition to that, um, in addition to that, um, we went on, and that Mark is so good though. He was telling me that price he did because you want somebody when you're doing it to also look at your taxes, because when you get the house as the taxes that they paid, you're going to get reassessed your taxes the following year. So that one, the taxes was too high, and then the HOA fee was kind of, it was kind of up there for the kind of property it was. So then I told Carolyn, don't worry, just take my bid back. And so I was in the bed like this, like, oh, woe it's me. I'm never going to get a place. And then I was up there whining and crying to Carolyn. And she was like, well, you have that other one. Do you want to put it on that other one? I was like, well, give me a minute. I have to think. I'm just so tired. So then we put it on there. Side note about this property. They only put that property on one thing. It wasn't on Trulia. It wasn't on Realtor.com. It wasn't on Zillow. It was just on Redfin. No problem. We go in there, we see the property. I fall in love with the property. Okay. I fall in love with the property. And then let's see if I can actually, now I'm new at this, you all, so bear with me. Okay. All righty. Let's bear with me. And let me see if I can present this here, you all. Bear with your sister here. I'm going to see if I can get this together. No, can I get it together? Window. To the window, to the wall. Where is it? Okay, y'all. I'm gonna come back and try this again.
I'm in real estate. I can't help you out with this one.
Let me see something. I just want to see if I can get this. I just want to show you. Well, I'll come back to that. But anyway, so with that said, we did the inspection and we did the appraisal. And then Carolyn, and then I was happy, but something just couldn't allow me to be real happy. And then Carolyn, I'll let you take it over with that fateful call you gave me that day.
So the call I received, and this is a part of when Kim talked about having a team of people. You have to have a team of people that you can trust. This team happened to be the title company that contacted me and said, we can't do this. The title is fraudulent. And I'm thinking, no, show me what you're talking about. Show me proof of how this is fraudulent. What is it that you're looking at that tells you that this is fraudulent? So what they shared with me was a quitclaim deed that was written up by the listing agent. Not only was it written up by her, it was also notarized by her. I can't say that she signed it per se, but the document was fraudulent and the signatures did not match the original owner's signature. That's the bottom line. LaShannon, you want to take that part from here?
Okay. And that's where.
Well, wait a minute. Before we go to that part, I think we're missing a integral part.
What part?
So that's the part where the title company said that, listen, you don't have a deal here. Okay, there is no deal. There is one thing that you can do. Hi, Denise. Hi, Nadi. There's one thing you can do, and we see that this case is in probate, and you can contact the family if you can find them.
If you can find them, that's correct.
And then I was like, oh my God. So I started looking through all the paperwork, and it's a site called FamilyTreeNow.com. And I used to use that in the car business. when people would come in there and they would kick tires, have me do all these test drives and pull out these cars and then leave me the wrong number and everything, and I go to call them, I find it's the wrong number, I would go up and see, I had their license, so I could look them up, right? Because you had to have your license in order to drive. So I will look up there and find that phone number, and then I will call them, and they were like, "What?" And that's how I found. So um, I looked up the owner of the home, and I looked at the people that were there. They show you the relatives too, and I looked at the relatives, and then what I did was I started looking and finding them, and that's how I called LaShannon. Now go ahead, LaShannon.
Okay.
Oh, I called your. Did I call? I called your.
My brother.
Yeah, your brother.
Mother.
My brother. Yeah, so before
Hi,
then
Michelle.
I guess we was behind the scenes already because my aunt had already passed. And I think this is just so need a conversation on as African Americans, we don't discuss like business far as, getting our business in order. And this is a prime example of what have happened. So all of this stuff had fell in my lap because my a family member had died and she had no children. So I am her next of kin. So therefore everything, I had to, just take on this role to make sure the crooks didn't get what they thought they was gonna get, which was her house. So go back what Kim was saying, I was at work. My brother called me. He was like, the lady want to buy the house, but she said the lady was at the closing table. I guess he probably got it all wrong because everybody was so excited because we was on the back end of it, thinking we already had went to court, because before then I was just handling the stuff on my own till it got to a point where I had to get an attorney. So I got an attorney and went to the house, still put the stuff in the window. They still was behind the scenes. They were determined to get this lady's house. So my brother called me at work and he was like, there's a lady who's trying to who want to buy the house, but so they have to close the table, but they can't buy it because of I had went down to the Oakland County courts or whatever, and I had put an affidavit on the deed because the deed was signed fraudulent. My aunt, the signature did not match at all, so they forged her signature, to steal her house, and they were on their way to actually steal it. But lo and behold, that's when Kim came into play. She called my brother-in-law, like she said, she looked on that familytree.com. She got a hold to him. He calls me at work, and I'm at work like he don't even come like, oh no, what's going on? And he told me, I just kind of like almost panic, like, oh my God, they is for real. They finna take this lady house. But I was like, nope, that's not kicked in the gear. I was like, I had an attorney friend, and I, not for probate, but something else. So I was telling him what I was trying to do. He said, you still on, you're on the right track, whatever. But at this point, it had gotten so out of hand. I had to, get an attorney and pay for a real attorney, a probate attorney. And we'll talk about that later down the line too. But just to say, so Kim reached out to us, and then that's what I had to reach out to an attorney. And that's when the ball started rolling. But like they were saying earlier, you do need to have a team, a trustworthy team. Because even the title company that the crooks were going with, their title company were on board with them, trying to proceed with this deal and to take this house. So that's why I was just saying it's just real, that conversation about we need to take care of our business before it gets where you can't. So we just don't want to talk about, death or anything like that when it comes to us. We just, want to push it to the side and be like, okay, it's going to be okay. But in this case, I had no family. We were her next family, whatever. But these were people that she knew for a very long time that, waited to the day. And the tripped out part, y'all, it was that they went and claimed this deed the day she passed. Like she passed that morning, like one something. They were down
126 or something like that.
Yeah, 1:15 in the morning. They were
Yeah.
down there at 9:00 down at the Oakland County's office.
It was stamped at 9:00. They was down there before 9.
So she probably before they got there, they was probably wasn't even at their desk, and she was there in line and got it stamped. And I just thought that was just just really like terrible. Not only that, and then we had a family situation before then, and that's why we wasn't so keen on it, because we were focused on something else, and they played on that. That's the part that really has me upset, because like this was no strange people. We knew these people. well, we knew the person that, tried to steal a house, and then I guess she hooked up with the other little thief, the
Yes.
the listing agent,
Right.
yeah. So it was a real intense situation, but like you said, Kim, she had reached out to us, and at this point we had to
Hi,
trust
Michelle.
somebody. So
Okay.
we got on board with Kim and in Caroline, and we just fast forward, and Kim, she's in a home, and we're grateful for that, but like we said, it was a hard road because at that point it was
Oh
like,
no, we're not gonna fast forward. We're gonna stop because there was a lot more that went in on that.
girl bad, but it was a long journey. It was.
It was a long journey because the thing about it is that we found but even before we found you, we contacted them and they said they were getting an attorney. So and they wouldn't talk to us anymore.
Oh,
And
okay.
so then
I got
Carolyn,
called out.
yeah, and then so I was like, well, if they get an attorney, I said something is wrong here. And I said, you know what? I said, let's look into it. And I think that's what made us start looking for the family too. After that, because we had already, no, it was after that. But then we said after we heard from the title company, we knew we should look. So then we had found you, but then she still said that you're going to get that house and we're going to sell you the house and da 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 da. But that lady, LaShannon and I met because we went and we started putting in, because I had put money in and I didn't know if this was going to come out or not. Okay. I didn't know if I was going to come out the victor or not. So LaShannon and I met for the first time. We had talked on the phone, but LaShannon, oh, I put my banner up. Not Naughty. Okay, thank you for that. And let me see. Ticker show. There we go. Thank you, Naughty. So yeah, and then so LaShannon and I met the first time, so I put in a police report on her. But the other thing is what we found out, LaShannon, remember? That it
Yeah.
didn't matter if we put in a police report, they weren't gonna do nothing to him until it came out to court.
But you know what? See, I just like the lady that who was it? The detective that we first had. Like she said, that to me, it just seemed like it was in probate, whatever. We just kind of handled a lot of that. But still, at any point, like I said, that was something that we should still. Well, I should have pushed a little further too, because regardless of that, that still was a crime being committed. And then come to find out, they thought that we were family with them, but that wasn't the case. The case, the house had to go to probate just to keep it from being, you know, stolen like that. It would have been
Yes.
anyway along with my family, but not in this instance. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we were just surprised though that we'd have to go through all that because there's nothing, there's no mechanisms
Okay.
up there so that somebody could so somebody could actually just hit all these different people. So no wonder why all this mortgage fraud and everything is going on, because it was evident that even on the deed that they had forged your aunt's signature.
Right.
So when it came down to it, for you to be able to fight that in court, you would have, they were saying that you'd have to get handwriting. So we did go to court
Twice.
but when we went to court, the lawyer did not put down everything. But before that, we even reported her to the board, okay, which was a problem because we went to go to, wasn't a problem, but what it was a problem because a hit dog hollers. So when we went to and put him in the board, and Carolyn did that, they called Carolyn's job.
They said I made no, actually her attorney called my office and told my broker that I made derogatory statements against his client, which I had not. The only thing that was stated was the piece of paper that I obviously had in my hand, which spoke for itself.
Right.
Yeah. So then we went to the court, and then they said that the lawyers were kind of bickering back and forth, and they said that you can't do. They said that you could the judge, no, it's the court clerk. They said that he filed the wrong paperwork, and then the thing about it is that these people were inside. They weren't inside of our jurisdiction, so that was one, and the other one was they weren't part of the probate, so it needed to be civil. So then the Crooks lawyers came on. It was like, well, you could do a quiet title. So if anybody ever heard of quiet title, well, let me see here. Now I have that quiet title up. Let me go and tell you exactly what that is. A quiet title action is a legal procedure to establish a right to ownership to a real property or establish other property interests against one or more adverse claimants, because we had some adverse claimants, okay? A quiet title action is also called a suit to remove a cloud on a title. Now, if there was ever a cloud on anything, it was certainly a cloud on that title, okay? And that is the truth. So the Crooked People's lawyer did that. So then that put
Can I stop and say something for a minute?
Sure. Hi,
So,
Juice.
in layman's terms, what Kim just actually said to you is that the quiet title quieted what was currently a title on paper, and it reverted back to the original owner, but the owner at this point was already deceased, so it went back to the estate of. So it quieted the title that was fraudulent. I know, interesting.
Yep, to get it back to the original owner.
Yes,
which is
because it was cloudy. Like
right.
But anyway, so then we had to get a. So then we had to go back to court. But here's the thing, though. I just want to talk about crooks. Okay. One thing I could say about them. Okay, they was gangster. They was gonna hold the sisters because LaShannon represents a group of three. It's three of them. They held them. They said that they wanted to then hold the title. In order for them to do the quiet title, they had to do it for $30,000. And then LaShannon then was having no parts of that. Okay. Then that lady stepped down, and then the realtor who had saw me on the Zoom call said, since I was still on there, since I was her customer, she wanted her listing fee. What was that? A listing or her
commission?
Her commission.
For the listing.
Yes. And so then we had to battle that out in court in all actuality, which was a trip. Now, I don't know whether or not anybody else may have some stories that they may want to be able to share or ask any questions about that. Okay, so so Regina is talking about that quiet title too, I see here. Quiet title is, okay, here we go. A title is a lawsuit filed to establish ownership of a real estate when ownership is in question. Yes. That's what it said. So yeah, so I dropped the link if anybody else wants to come up. But yeah, so we ended up we did a lot of work. It doesn't sound like a lot when we're on this, but I tell you, it took a long time for us to get to where we are today with this. One of the ladies that's on this, I even asked, she said her mom was she was encouraging me, Shay, because she says her mom had been she does property management, owns a lot of property, and she was just like, look, let me tell you, Kim, my mom has gone through all kind of stuff. She says, so I think you'll get through it. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. She's just positive anyway, because there was times I didn't think that it was going to be okay at all. But we got through it. And yeah, and LaShannon, I want to thank you so much, because when it came down to it all, you really, really, I know that when we talked and everything, did it ever go through your mind, was I legitimate?
Yeah. It did. It did, because it did. At first I was like, but then after we, had talked and I met with you, and then we made the reports at, with the Southfield Police Department. At no point did I think you were in on it.
Right.
I didn't think
Mhm.
I didn't think that. No, I didn't. Because I said, if you, why would you reach out to me? You know what I'm saying? And when I can't even really go back to it. I really don't want to get emotional about it either. But I didn't think so.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
good.
Originally, when he called me and he asked me, like, to know the lady wants you to really call or whatever. And at first I was kind of reserved about it, but I was at work and I said, well, let me give her a call. And I think I did call you when I was able to get,
You
um,
did, and then your sisters called me after me and you spoke. Crystal and your
Bobby.
sisters called, yeah, and Bobby, they had called, and so yeah, because that was, I love this place. I really do. I would show if I didn't have all these boxes around, I'd show y'all. But I
I
love my little
recognize that
place.
room.
How you recognize this room? Yeah, this is gonna be my office/studio.
mm-hmm. Which
Yeah,
room is that, Kim?
huh?
Which room is that one?
That's the blue room.
Okay.
Yep, I'm gonna
Well,
make it an office/studio.
yeah.
So let me see here. Michelle says, I never heard of a quiet title until Kim talked about this. Also, Michelle says, hey Michelle. Michelle says it takes a while to clear the title when the fraud is a fraud. That's another thing. You're absolutely right. And so, in all actuality, the sisters who were the heir to the property really weren't they weren't keen on this idea, you know what I mean, because there was a lot that went into it. They weren't keen on that idea, but then the lawyer told them that if you didn't, then there might be a year or two where you'd be in here fighting for this. So after much deliberation, they went on ahead and made a determination that they would go forward with it.
And just, what, I want to say this too. And it's not only just that part too, but because previously before, let me see, when I was looking for a home kind of like too, whatever. So I kind of like understood where you were at, with the whole buying process and everything too. And then just how it just went. You kind of see what I'm saying? And I was like, who has the energy to really to fight, to keep fighting, not saying fighting, but you know what I'm saying, but to a certain extent, whatever. And then we're in limbo, like what we need to do with it, you really want it, we had a buyer. So, but I just want to, to the viewers and the listeners too, is that at no, like you said, at no point was it like, we just gave up, whatever. I mean, we fought the fight, and the whole thing of it was for them not to have it.
Right.
And to make sure, you said you wanted the home, that's what you wanted, and I felt that's what you wanted to do, and we, help make it happen for you. So, like I said, but at any point, I don't think, we got, punked out or whatever, or, just beat, but like you just said, it wasn't a deal that we really was, really gun-ho with it at first. You kind of see what I'm saying? Because like I said, the whole thing, it was
Naughty.
very emotional, and it was just very just heartbroken how it.
Hi, ladies.
Hi there.
I just want to tell you, Kim, I'm so proud of you.
Oh,
And
thank you. Thank you.
thank you, ladies, for being her village.
Of course.
Yes, indeed. So
You
let me
said a
introduce
key
you all
word.
to Nadi. Her name is Nikki, but she has a popular YouTube channel. It's called Nadi Love Movement. She sells head wraps too, and she does a lot of different stuff. But it gets trending topics, and when it comes down to trending topics of finding what's out here and what's going on, and especially celebrity news, her vlog is phenomenal. And so she's helped me a lot with getting my channel up with quite a few other ladies. So yes. So Nadi, you have any questions about it or anything to add?
No, I mean, it's very informational. You already know where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out the whole real estate thing myself when it comes to being a caregiver and trying to
Yes.
things and stuff like that. So like Juice dropped some good information because I'm trying to work through some stuff there. But no, people are underhanded and they do a lot of grimy things, unfortunately.
Yes.
And I'm just glad you had the wherewithal and the strength to get through that process. But you know what? God knew that was your blessing. So
Yes.
he gave you the strength to get to
And
that.
I'm gonna tell you all, every person that has come here has said, Kim, this place is you. And then they look and they were like, oh, Kim, this place is really you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter, she came here, she's so happy, she's so proud and everything. And this place, everybody is just like, this place is you, Kim, and it is, because when people came, because I'm gonna tell you, and we had this when we did our ladies show, we talked about this. I'm gonna tell you how many people told me to walk away from this. They were like, that house ain't for you. Because
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. If you got all that problem and everything, that ain't God. God ain't want you to have that house, girl. She said, because if it's a God, you're not gonna have that problem. So then I don't know how many people told me. Then I got, I really like the house. So I wasn't trying to say anything because I really wanted this place really bad, right? And just the dynamics of it was making my nerves bad. First of all, with all the stuff that we went through. But then, I didn't want to say nothing to nobody because I didn't want to mess up my comment. But one time somebody said that to me, and I was just like, look, don't start that with me. I said, because I want this house. I said, and let me tell you something. And Regina from Juice Radio Show, she seconded this, and she told me, she said, Kim, because I told him, I said, listen, God made us in the image of him. I said, sometimes you're going to have battles you got to go through. You just can't be ignoring stuff. And she brought it to my attention. She says, I don't know why they would tell you that when most of the Bible is full of nothing but what, Kim? Battles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you're right. The Bible is full of nothing but battles. You know what I mean? But everybody that comes here, they're like, oh my God, Kim, it is really, this is you. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so when it comes down to it and everything, you gotta fight for what you want. You know what I mean? And I think it was well worth it. I'm so glad, that and I fought for this thing. It took me 4 mortgage people, okay, and 2 realtors just to even get here. So my fight started in the very beginning when the Bank of America man wanted to cuss me out, okay, because he surely did. All right, he wanted to give me what for over because I didn't want to be bothering him because I didn't know anything, but I didn't know the Bank of America was the one who made all those big loans to people, and then the people got put out of their houses. Yeah, I didn't know that, Carolyn.
Yes. No interest loans. Got
How do
people in big trouble.
you can get a no interest? Is that really a real thing? No.
It was
Oh,
in
with them?
like the early 90s.
Hmm.
And then I almost said something, but then it caught up with you. And those people couldn't pay. They couldn't pay it back. And that's why you saw in 2008, 5, when the market crashed.
Right.
That's what happened.
Wow. I did not know that.
Right now, even, and I'm not predicting anything. I'm not. But I'm just saying right now, there's inventory is low. And you have houses that are on the market and people know that inventory is low. So they price houses a little bit more. Well, down the line, those houses aren't going to be worth what you're paying for them now, especially if you paid over and above. Like you talked about earlier, people were paying 5, 10, 15. I've seen people pay $50,000 over on a property.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that where's your equity? You don't have any equity in the house now. Like
you don't, and and what you do? Because
this is an investment.
Right. We sold my parents' house. We listed it at $299 and it's over $335. So we listed it, but they gave us, but it was a bidding war back then. So they were going. We had gotten somebody had even bid at 50,000 over. We didn't take theirs because their terms were different. You know what I mean? So yeah, and we were just selling it as is. But yeah, so I'm telling you, I couldn't understand it, and it was so many houses out there like that. Now I offered a lot, but I lost a lot to a lot of people because they had that kind of money to be give 20, 30 thousand. I don't have that kind. I didn't have that kind of money.
Then with
Mhm.
condos, there is also you're fighting with, well, we're baby boomers,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
um, with condos, it's more of a battle because baby boomers and that generation, they're downsizing. So they're looking to, the kids are gone, grandkids maybe or maybe not. So they're
Mhm.
looking, they don't want to do all this maintenance, anymore. And you want to live life as long as you can and do what you can without worrying about maintenance and, some other
Yes.
issues. So you go to a condo, but you're
Right.
fighting because everybody else is kind of thinking the same thing. It's that time
Mhm.
we're getting older. And then you have those people who sold their homes and now they can buy these condos with cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because my
the
friend,
inventory
she
was
bought a
that low.
condo in the housing crash, and it is a really nice condo. Over 12 and Telegraph over there for 26,000. And it's got a attached garage, two bedroom attached garage, basement, everything, It was just really nice. I mean, it was really nice. Mortgage crashed in 2000
Gotta
because of
pay for
mortgage
it.
fraud.
Yep.
Yes, the money they were paying over during the pandemic was ridiculous. Yeah. And even
Yes.
beyond it, because they were paying it, because we sold my father's house, this is in 2022. But I guess the pandemic was still going in 2022, huh?
Yep.
Mhm.
High, in my opinion. Yes.
They like
So,
commercial.
I
I bet
got.
you I told them you was live earlier when I was live.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. That's why I always love her. She was always looking out for me. Yes, indeed. But we look out for each other because that's what we do in
Mhm.
these YouTube streets. Okay.
That's
But
right.
it is
You
very
have to.
it's very important to communicate with not only with your clients but with your team, whoever your team may be, which would include your lender. Number one, keep constant communication because your lender, and like in Kim's case, um, there was seller's concession, and the lender, because he knows his company and what the underwriters would look for in terminology, he let me know what verbiage to put in there. So when it
Yeah.
comes to having a team, you have to listen to your team too, with your
Hi,
lender,
Crystal.
your buyer, your seller. Um, you may have a inspector that you deal with all the time that you may recommend and trust.
Mm-hmm.
But you're building you have to build a relationship as well. And with a title company, build a relationship with the title company.
Let's talk about
You
that
know,
title company real quick, though.
sure.
Okay. So,
Hmm.
Mhm.
what would you recommend to people? Because she had a title company, but they didn't say anything about the fraudulent title. So, you don't know who your listing agent may or may not be for the people to be out here. So, would you suggest, Carolyn, that a buyer has their own, if it's a different title company, if the title companies are different from the buying agent from the selling agent, would you suggest people to make sure they ask their agent to push the title through their title company?
It's called a split title.
Mm-hmm.
um, Split closing. When that happens, the buyers can close with their title company and the sellers can close with their
Mhm.
title company. What comes into play with that is the cost. The cost could be a little bit different. The only time that you don't split the title is if it's a cash deal.
But we
Then
ran
you
the
don't.
title though through yours,
But
though, didn't we?
that's correct. She had her own title, but you chose to use the title company that I normally work with and that I'm comfortable with. And again,
But
that's
that was at
because of,
the end. I'm talking about when we found out in the beginning. You came to me in the beginning with it. So I thought that, they had a title company. I didn't, but it seemed like you ran it through anyway.
oh, I did a pre-title work.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
A
So you
pre-title
want to
work.
make sure y'all want to make sure you do a pre-title work, or make sure your realtor's doing a pre-title work. Because if you hadn't did that,
That's
I would
part
have
of
been
the
SOL.
communication. When I say building a relationship with your title company and
Uh-huh.
communicating, have that relationship with them, and it's no problem. That's part of their job.
I want to answer, in my opinions, question right now. Sister Queen, you can calm down. Don't worry about it, girl, because I got it together now, okay? But in the first place and in the beginning, they was trying to get your girl. All righty. They was trying to get me. And these people was they did a fraudulent deed. And on the panel, besides Nadi, is Carolyn up in the upper right hand corner and LaShannon down in the lower left hand corner. And LaShannon, Carolyn's my realtor, and LaShannon is my she was the one that was it was the buyer. Okay, I mean the seller. And
Mhm.
so they were trying to steal it from her and her aunt's estate. And so yeah. So I had to fight like I was feeling like Sophia. All my life I had to fight.
It be your own family.
It be your own family, your own people. You know what I mean?
So
And
I
so,
want to just put this in there, and just in case you don't know what pre-title work does,
mhm.
what it does is the title company will go in and find out whether or not who owns the property, if there's any other interest in the property, if there's any liens in the property, on the property. And that's how this came up. After
Right.
they pulled pre-title work, they were able to see that the documents that were associated with that property were fraudulent by the signatures.
But you
Mhm.
know what, Carolyn and Kim,
Mhm.
they get that information because I sent that over. That's how they got it, because it was an affidavit. The affidavit that follows that I applied for, it followed the type. It followed the
Right. What
mortgage
made you
information.
decide to do that though?
Because when I went, because when I was, when I, because like I said, I didn't know anything at first, like what to do. So when I called down to Oakland County to the deeds office, whatever, and the girl was like, we're not a third party. You have to, reach out to, the police department, whatever. That's when I reached out to Southfield, whatever. But the one of the guys that worked there, he called me back and he was like, Shannon, I had put, your aunt's old deed information, and those signatures does not match. And I said, so what do I need to do at this point now? He said, you need to come down to the the county office, whatever, and file an affidavit. And so when I did the affidavit, the other clerk, was there, whatever. So she put, so I said, what do I put on there? Whatever. She said, don't worry about it. So she put attached fraudulent deed. And so anytime they were like, so it takes a minute to go through the system. So when it was going through the system, you all probably wasn't able to see that first, but then once it, I guess it'll come through the system, goes to the paperwork, whatever, and it was going to follow that. So, and I also reached out to the previous title company that was on the my aunt's old information, whatever, and I reached out to them and sent them, all the information, who I was. By that time, I already had did the probate, and I was waiting for them to grant me with the personal representative over the estate. But anyway, that's how that came about, because it was attached to the deed. It was fraudulent, and then it was fraudulent with backing with, the signatures and, all that stuff like that. Those signatures did not match at all. So I had to do, go find almost her handwriting and stuff like that. So that's why I was still kind of upset with it too, because you have proof here that this stuff is, fraudulent. So I don't even know, like, in what place, like they were saying, I'm sorry, I'm just jumping over the place, but like they were saying too, when you go down to the city county building or whatever, they don't have the time and they just don't look at it. You just go to the counter, you give them the information, they stamp it, and they go on about their way. They don't have, I guess the information or even the business, even to try to see, to differentiate what's right and what's wrong. They just, stamp it and keep it moving. And like you just said, so they were really, really crafty on what they have, what they did, because this was their first rodeo with this. It couldn't have been.
So now, what made you decide to do that? Because I know one time you came there and you saw them in the house.
Oh, you know what? Because after my aunt had passed or whatever, so we went over there because the guy that you all met, David Fisher was going to be our realtor. And that's when we took him over to the house, whatever, and we seen him there. So that's when the ball started rolling. And I was like, wait a minute, who put this house up for sale?
Is that when you guys had to keep going back and forth changing the locks?
No, that's when I originally went there, and David, I called David, so he was like, no, that's when I met her, and I was like, well, who's selling this house? She was like, Greta. I said, Greta, what? That's when we got into like, that's what she said. My auntie had gave her the house, whatever, and stuff like that. And I was like, nah, that ain't how that went.
Yeah. I'm gonna hold on. I got some newcomers, and I just want to say hi to some of these people. Hello, my cousin Sabrina. In my opinion, that is my girl. She is on here, and I'm gonna tell you something. This sister is something else. She does a lot. She has a YouTube channel. Hers has a lot of resources on there. She always has resources for people out there, for families. So go check out her YouTube, and that goes to her and Nadi. I saw somebody.
She gave a great. I'm sorry, Kim. She did give a great suggestion of checking credit and for checking licensing and accreditation for the title company, as well as the Better Business Bureau.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that one. I was just hitting it. So then you have a question from Denise. Hi, Denise. Were you able to file a complaint with the Michigan State Board of Realtors? We did that, right?
Yes.
Okay. And hi, Dawn. Okay. All righty. I think we got it together. Now go ahead. Now, in my opinion.
Hey, Kim, how you doing?
Fine, baby. How you?
I'm blessed by the best and highly favored.
Yes, you
Listen
are.
here. Now, don't tell me I gotta come on up there and and do the 1 to the 2. I'm licensed in all 50 states.
I was ready to stick and move because this is mine.
No, I was over here. I was like, now hold on. I could like I said. They trying to scam me. I said, I know ain't nobody mess with my girl. Man, y'all don't want it. I'm gonna bring the South up north.
Yeah, but no, in my opinion, I'll tell you the truth. It was something else. And yeah, that is a good
Yeah, you always have to check. Let me tell you something. My husband, he a stickler. He always telling me, you gotta check accreditations for these business before you be wanting to put your credit card on stuff.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's one of the first things my stepfather taught me about business, using the Better Business Bureau and things like that. And one time my mom had like invited somebody in or whatever, and that's the first thing I did. And I'm like, oh, he ain't come. I said, sir, thank you for your services. I need you to go.
Yeah, right.
You trying to scam my mom,
Yes.
But
no.
My mom would. She kind of gave me some pushback, but I had to tell her, I said, Mom, I checked the Better Business Bureau like Charles taught me, and it did not come up as an accredited company, and that was the only way she listened to me.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, but I didn't even think about doing none of that stuff.
Yeah. If you don't have a relationship with them, it's too many. I'm not gonna say it's too many, but it's enough information on the website or on the internet that you can check out what's right and what's wrong. Now you do have to be careful and discern between fraudulent and legal, but you do your research properly, you'll find it out.
And that's I never ever tell anyone yes to any type of business or anything. I always say I get back to you.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Even if I'm skeptical. Even when people call my husband, other realtors call my husband, and I'm looking at him like, he's like, "Is this for real?" Hang up.
Even when picking your legal counsel when it comes to your real estate, you have to make sure that lawyer is going to act in the best interest of you. So it's
in your best interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Shannon she was at one time, she was like, okay, wait a minute now, Kim. I know we're dealing with Michael, but I have to ask my own self some questions too, about if this is the best representation for me. You know what I mean? So I get that. I saw her go through it firsthand. So you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like at that point it was crunch time, and I didn't really have time to kind of like interview with her, because they were, like I said, they was at the table, finna sign away this house or whatever. So like you just said, you have to do your research, you have to do your homework on, like you said, legal, like you just said, everybody in your team pretty much.
I know, and I know my company that I work for, that's part of one of my benefits. I get free legal advice. So like whatever I have questions on, I could contact them, and they give us free legal advice for like up to an hour. So use your benefits. Like,
yeah,
you have
use your resources.
I mean, you don't always have money to go hire a lawyer, but if you have that benefit, I use it on a lot of situations.
On a lot,
Usually sometimes in the different cities, you can go to the omnibusman's office.
Yeah,
they can provide information for you.
Even if you go down to the county, state, they offer free legal services. So if you're not sure, it's just always better to ask to protect yourself.
Yep.
In the eyes of the law. That's how people will get over on you, just for you having lack of knowledge.
Exactly. Knowledge is key.
Yeah. So if you don't know, stand on that. Say I don't know, and you find the answers.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that, because one thing for sure, I stood on business. Okay, I stood on business. Okay, and like the young girl told me yesterday, it was a young girl, one of these other vendors at the place. I was telling her I stand on business. She said, you got to add 10 toes down deep. I stood on business 10 toes down deep. Matter of fact, I remember when we came, I was kind of, although I really wanted this place, I got frustrated with the process. And I remember when we came to sign the papers for the quiet title and to get the deal rolling forward, I remember coming in and LaShannon's lawyer was like, well, we're going to sign the papers and then we're going to talk. I said, no, we're not. I said, because what we going to do, I said, I'm going to talk first and then I'm going to sign the papers. I said, because we need to establish some rules of engagement. I said, I'm going to tell you my rules and how I'm going to engage. Okay. I said, because everybody's standing to make money around here, but I'm the only one spending money. Yeah. And I felt like I hadn't, whatever. So, you do have to. So I don't want everybody to think I didn't have no voice in it, because I did have a voice, but it's only, so much that you can do. Thank God that,
she had so much of a voice that the lawyer got us confused.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me tell you about that, though. One morning I had called my mortgage guy, and I don't know what had happened at this time, but I was at an event, getting ready going to the event. I was going to veteran stand out or something like that. It was early in the morning. It was before 9 o'clock. So I said, let me call him, tell him what I got to say. Da, da, da. So I was going, he was like, Kim, wait a minute. It is too early in the morning for this. Okay. He says, so I haven't even had my coffee yet. He said, so let me tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I will look into the things that you asked me to look into and da, 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 da. But yeah, you have to be a proponent for, you got to fight for your own thing. You got to stand on business, okay?
Advocate for yourself.
There you go. There you go. That's what I'm trying to say.
The money, don't forget how much power you have. You got to remember, they want your coin.
Yeah.
They want you to spend your coin, but they need to earn that coin. Like,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because when he called me and everything, LaShannon's lawyer, I had hung up on him too, because he was like, well, because we were going, because they had just, because it, so if you want to think about it, it was two deals. It was what I first got when I thought that I was getting the house, right? So it was a certain price, okay? But then when the rightful owners got it, they re-looked over the deal and they changed how they what they wanted to sell it for. So we were going where we were I was countering their offer, right? And I was telling him that. He was like, I said, well, I haven't heard back from them on my counter offer. He said, you want the house, don't you? He says, you know, you do want the house. He said, we doing all this for you. So I just hung up the phone on him. Because he was talking to me. So I said, I'll hang up the phone. Then he going to realize that you don't talk to me like that. Because I'm not even getting ready to try to negotiate with anybody who don't respect me and my money and my time. And then after that, he told me that he really, really respected me. And he said, I really respect you, Miss Tucker. He says, you know, and I like your style and everything. He says, and you a go-getter and all the rest of that. So I'm like, thank you. I just ain't getting ready to let nobody push over on me, you know. And then I'm a talker anyway, because you know, I talked from the time I came out the womb. My mama said they didn't have to whoop me on, hit me on the butt in order for me to cry. I came out hollering.
Nothing.
Look at my youngest daughter. She came out hitting the Mariah Carey high note. I said, that's going to be the one. That's going to be the one that's giving me a run for my
Yes,
money.
indeed. We're going to wrap this show up, ladies. But before we go, what we always do is we go round robin and we talk about what, you know, we want people to come away with. So since Nadi was the last one on here, I'm going to start off with Nadi first.
I'm just, I want to walk away sending everybody home with a good night and sending out peace and blessings to everyone.
Yes, indeed. And you, LaShannon, any message you want people to take away from this?
Like we said this earlier, like you just said, just had that family talk about what needs to be done, you know, concerning business, and like you said, standing on it. And then you know, just sit and just, you know, just good wishes, and just know that in spite of all is well.
Yes, indeed. And you, Carolyn?
Well, thank you for having me for one.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you all for participating.
Secondly, I'd like to say it was an opportunity, a learning experience with the whole process here. I can't say that it was bad for me, because it wasn't. It was a learning experience, and it made me a bit stronger in this industry. It also made me more aware of how much research that we need to do, even amongst our peers. So when it comes to trust, take it don't take it so lightly.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that.
And communicate. Again, build your team and build your network. Check out your realtor. Interview your realtor, interview your lender. And when it comes to lenders, you don't have to go with the first one. You have about 45 days to check out a new lender where it doesn't hurt your credit a second time.
Right.
And then if you're in the business for buying or selling, I'm at KW Domain 248-719-5802. That's 248-719-5802. KW Domain. My name is Caroline Nelson, and I look forward to hearing from you.
And I recommend her. Okay.
Thank
So
you.
I want to say something about trust is really good, because, you know, I thought about something that one of the sisters had called me. And she was like, you know, that crooked person has, that crooked realtor has a copy of your earnest money deposit, and it has your bank account number. No, that was the first one. Not the second. The first one, it did. Because you sent a copy over. The first one, it wasn't redacted. The second one was redacted. I had to do two.
Okay.
Remember?
Okay.
Mm-hmm. The first one wasn't. But I'm just saying, so there's things like that. So, you know, you just never know who is what. But that happened to me. Now, maybe it was or it wasn't Carolyn, but I remember that we weren't sure because typically
No, I took it off.
You took it off of the first one too?
Yes, because that's
Oh.
one of the things that we don't want exposed or out to anybody else.
Okay. Good.
No,
I wasn't sure.
It
But
went. What you saw went to the holder, which was my company,
oh,
but the other side would not see that.
well, scratch that then. I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so good. But anyway, yeah. But anyway, the bottom line is that fight for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I just kept believing that God wouldn't bring me to this if He wouldn't bring me through it. You know what I mean?
Nothing worth
There
having.
are no coincidences. Everything coincides.
Yes, I believe that too as well. And then, like Dawn said, she said, "Trust but verify" is one of the wisest phrases I've ever learned. Yes. So when you were talking about trust, Carolyn, that's what Dawn says: trust but verify. So you can do that. But yeah, so that's what I say with that. So ladies, you can hold off backstage. I'm gonna run this banner real quick and close us out. And that is about it. Thank you all for coming and participating. Okay.
No problem.
Hello, my fabulous viewers. Welcome to Kim Delivers, the ultimate destination for commentary enthusiasts. I am Kimberly, your guide on this exciting journey, delivering you entertaining and informative content. Whether you're here for a dose of laughter, inspiring tips, or just good vibes, you've landed in the right spot. Hit that subscribe button and join our family. So buckle up and let's dive into the world of Kim Delivers together.